There are 5 things that I feel are essential to maintaining a successful reef aquarium. And you'd be surprised, a sump is not one of them. A canister filter is not one of them. An external filter of any kind is not one of them. This whole tank is a filter. So I'm going to pee and poop in this tank. Hello, spicy reefers! So I just want to take a moment to thank everyone for watching my videos. I never originally posted these videos or started making these videos so that other people couldn't necessarily watch them. It's really been a huge learning process for me. I'm the type of learner that if I go and read a book and a month later try and explain it to somebody or try and just remember myself what it was that I read, it's a lot more difficult than if I read the book and then tell somebody about it right away, maybe write some notes about it, and then try and explain the stuff that I learned. That really helps me solidify the knowledge, and yeah, that's why I started doing these videos. This video is going to serve 2 functions. The first one, and I feel it's the most important function, and the reason that I'm kind of excited to make this video, for anyone who's thinking about a reef tank for the first time. And you might find it daunting at first because there's so much information and so many people spending thousands of dollars to put a simple little reef together. You can literally spend $2,000 on a setup just like this one here, a 20-gallon setup. And it's kind of ridiculous. This tank is kind of going to be a frag tank. Some of the stuff that I have in the big aquarium that I have in the dining room is getting out of control. I kind of want to have a little grow out tank. I need to mimic fish without having any fish. And what do fish do? They pee and poop. And that's what they're doing in my big tank, and everything grows. So I'm going to pee and poop in this tank, but not me and not fish. And we want to build up all the stuff that's necessary for the coral. And I don't know if this is going to work, so y'all let me know if you think, Spicy's out of his mind and this is not going to work. So I kind of want to just wipe the slate clean. Let's get to square one. What are the basics? What are the main things that we need in a reef tank? And especially if it's your first tank, it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. We can put this together for about the same price as you would a freshwater tank, and I would argue probably even less. I'm going to show you how I've created a very simple aquarium with all the basic. Have your corals and your fish thrive. We don't want to just kind of get it going and struggle. We want it to thrive. First thing you need is a tank. You need a box of something to hold water. It can be a bucket, but we kind of want it to look nice. One of the reasons that we put a reef tank together is because we want to look at it. I'm in the guest bedroom right now, and so whenever we have guests come over, this tank is set up in here and people can see it from their bed or watch it from the table that's over there while they're drinking their morning coffee or having their afternoon wine. This tank is 20 gallon long. I got it from Petco. I paid $27 for it. I think that was including tax. Anyway, they have a 50% off sale. They have it almost ongoing throughout the year, especially on their smaller tanks. Next thing you're going to need is a heater. The number 1 killer in aquariums are heaters. So why am I getting the cheapest heater in the world? I believe this is 100 watts because that's what I think I purchased. Now it's going to come with a handy dandy little thermometer. You can plop it in there. Well, you plop the probe in there, and then this you can suction cup to the outside of your tank or just lay it flat on the side. Yeah, we've got 100 watts. What we want to do with this is, yeah, you can probably get away with using this and the thermometer and, you know, setting it and making sure that you pay attention to the temperature that's in the tank. You can probably get away with this for about 6 months without any worries. If you want to replace a heater every 6 months, you probably wouldn't have to worry too much about it. But I want to put a controller in there. That's probably the most money that I will ever spend on the tank, except for maybe the lights. So this was 15 bucks, and a controller is $55 if you get the Wi-Fi version. If you don't want the Wi-Fi version, you can probably pick one up for about $35. And what that's going to do is you plug it into the controller, and the controller has its own temperature probe. And these things are notorious for going bad because of the little controller that's built into here, and you submerge it in water, and they're not reliable. Aquarium, heater. The next thing you need is you need water flow. You need a way for that water to circulate. About putting a Jabao wave maker in here, one of those round ones, the small one, same one that I have in the 5-gallon tank. But I don't think it's going to be right for this tank, because those round ones, they blast the water pretty wide. They don't channel it and put it in the middle, and I blast it wide. Then the water does have a chance to circulate. But if I put it on the end over here, and I blast the water and it's blasting wide, then all I'm doing is creating kind of a turbulence. The water's not really flowing too much. So it's having to work really hard because it's blasting wide, and the water has to fight to come back to the fan or the pump. So you're blasting wide, and then the water's just fighting to get back in there. So the pump is always dragging and making noise, and I find that it just doesn't work. It probably would work if I put it on the back and I put it right here in the middle, but I don't like them there. I kind of like them on the side here. So Jabao does make this really cool little tiny, you know how I have in my 150 gallon, I have the gyre type wave maker, and it sends the water up. Well, you can point it to whatever direction you want to send it, but it can send it across the surface, and then it'll circulate this way, and I really like that. And they make a tiny one for this, and I might end up getting that, but it's like 65 bucks, and I find it difficult, especially in the first video, that you're starting up your reef tank. You don't need that. I might end up getting it because I might try growing some acro. That kind of required a little higher water flow. I'm going to test this out though. I'm going to see if this is enough. These names are hilarious. I don't know what this company is. I'm not promoting this company. There's several of these on the internet that you can buy, and they're all the same. This is basically, we're going to skim the water off the surface, and then we're going to blast water in one direction. Let's take a look here. And I'll do a individual little review on each one of these and show you how to use it. But basically, this one here, and I've never used this one, and I wanted to get something that was really small, and so that's what this is. So the way these work is it's going to blast water out of this little nozzle here, and it has these little suction cups, and you just suction cup it to the back. Basically what this does is it sucks the water off the surface, and what this thing does is it floats. So if your water is evaporating, it can evaporate down to that much. It can evaporate like a whole, the water can evaporate up to 1.5 inches, and this is still going to be sucking off the surface. Now this one also comes with, and I kind of like this, I have a large version of this. I think you've seen it. I have it on the back of the 150 gallon Reef. But the large version of this comes with a spray bar, and this little tiny one is the only one that came with a spray bar out of the smaller ones. See, this thing has little holes in it. With the spray bar attached, what I can do is I can put this on the back wall and have the water come out and spray across the surface. But if I do use the arm and the spray bar, I'll probably put it to the bottom, and then the water will shoot across the bottom and then come across the top. And the bottom is kind of where the corals are going to be anyway, and so that's what needs the water flow. So this spray bar kind of acts like that Jabao gyre type wave maker because of the little holes on the bottom, and it's just going to create a nice sheet. Now the next thing you need are lights. Now I'm all over the board on lights. You can make your own LEDs and buy little LEDs, which I have done for my little 5-gallon, but my little 5-gallon Reef bowl, I had to buy them because there isn't really an adequate light out there to grow coral that is going to light just a small area. There's some like overkill. You can spend like $300, $400, $500, $600. I don't think you can get them as low as $600. A light that's going to go over your Reef bowl. That's more money than I've spent on all the coral in there. Kind of one of those experimental things, but it's been a year and a half. I'm gonna have to go check my calendar. It's been a long time and the coral in there is doing really well. I'll have to do an update. I think I'm honing in and I'm settling on 2 different things. Either I'm gonna put one of my Vipar spectros, which I already have. So if you already have light, use what you already have. But if you're starting from scratch, kind of thinking T5s might be the way to go. Now Coral Life has had a T5, a 24-inch. I know the T5 will grow coral. I mean, everyone just really raves about T5s. I might just put a Vipar in here since I already have it. But they're getting expensive now. They're getting like $160 for a Vipar. Let me give you an up close so you can see what I've got going in there. There's another thing. I have painted it specially with sand in the paint. And I did that so it would kind of give me a look of sand. Now there's the reflections that are coming up right now, and so it doesn't look as nice, but when I put water in there, we're gonna see that that looks pretty cool. Going with a bare bottom tank. I'm not gonna put sand in here. We'll see how that goes. Also, you do need a lid. I have these lying around because I work on homes, and this is used for transparent roofing material over sun decks and stuff like that. People put them over windows. You can get this stuff at Home Depot, like $60 for that big giant sheet, and you can cover all kinds of tanks. And that's why I have it around. The main reason that I put a lid is for evaporation. When you have a lid on here, the water is not going to evaporate as much as if you don't have a lid. And then you don't have to worry about maintenance. On a small tank, you want to really control the water level. Put the lid and you fit it right in here. Anything that evaporates up is going to drip back down. And that's my auto top off. So the other thing that you can do is you can actually channel it, leave part of it open if you do want some evaporation. If you're going to start adding kalkwasser in here and other things, and you need to be adding it in, then you don't want to overfill your tank, so you do want some evaporation. I want to experiment with coral only and see if I can grow some acropora. That's going to be my main vein, because so many people say you have to spend all these thousands of dollars just to grow some acropora. I'm betting that I don't have to. With all the experience that I have over the years, we're going to find out if Spicy knows what the heck he's talking about.
I was wondering why that ball kept getting bigger, and then it hit me.
That was awesome.